Ready to tube, ready to YouTube. Okay, you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Welcome to another fake crime.
Welcome to The Crimes Are Fake,
The
but
crimes
the
are
vibes
kind of real, though.
are great.
This is Sister Wives Part 2.
Yeah.
It'll be shorter because
Whoa.
we filmed the last one at the end of season 12, I think.
Yeah, so it was like seasons 1 through 12, and right now
We're about to start season 16.
So this is season 13. We're about to start 16, or we're about to start 17?
We're about to start 16.
Oh, okay. All right. So this is like 13 through 15.
Yeah.
A lot has happened, though.
Yeah, Sophie was like, I think we should do one before we get to...
The people
season
leaving.
17 is like the current season.
Yeah.
We know that wives leave. We
Yes.
know exactly... The only things we know about, like, current sister wives is we know that one of the wives stays. I think we know who stays.
I don't know for sure that she stays.
I'm pretty sure I know who it is, but I'm not certain. And then we know that, as we said in the last one, Mary's kid, whose name is now Leon, uses they, them pronouns. Where we're at in the show, that hasn't happened yet, so they're still using...
Right.
The people in the show are still using their
wrong
old
pronouns.
name and the wrong pronouns.
Yeah.
But we'll be saying Leon and they, them. And that is kind of
I know more than you know.
That's all that I know. Where we're at in the show right now. So what has happened since season 12.
Yeah.
The family was living at the end of season 12 in their 4 houses in like this cul-de-sac that they all bought land right next to each other in a cul-de-sac in Vegas. Built houses next to each other. It was like kind of ideal for their situation.
Yes.
Based on the viewer. Oh, the other thing that I want to say.
Go ahead.
That I think we said at the beginning of the last one too is like everything we're saying is only based on the show. We do not know any of these people personally.
No.
For all we know, like, these are all, like, lovely people.
This could
and, like,
be entirely fake. This is reality TV. So, like, what we're talking about right now is the character of the people who are on TV. I hope that everyone is doing much better than how they're doing on this TV show. If they are doing how they appear to be on this TV show, I am concerned. I don't know that reality TV should exist in this form.
I feel like reality TV is fine to exist. Like 90 Day Fiance, they're all adults. The thing about like this show and other shows is that they're like, even though Sister Wives isn't like very focused on the kids, it's definitely mostly focused on the adults. Like there's still like kind of embarrassing things of the kids that like I don't know if I would want.
It's just like children. There are children who were born on that show who are now like what, like 8, 10?
Truly was the first one who was born, and in real life right now, I think she's born in like 2011, I think. So she's like
to be
12.
To be born and to not know any difference between your family existing versus your family existing on a reality TV show is very scary to me, and it feels like similar to this like revelation people that are having about like the children of influencers. That it's like if you can't, I don't know. Basically, the most important thing that has happened is that the family decided to move to Flagstaff, Arizona. And
we have to talk about that.
We have to talk about that, but what I want to say is they bought a huge piece of property so that they could build houses similar to their setup that they had in Vegas.
Yeah.
It really seems like to me, and we'll come back to it, but it seems to me like the reason that they moved is because Vegas is like liberal. So if you look at like the years and the timing of things that are going on, and I have no idea, this is just a guess that I'm making, but Kody, who we hate now, and we hated a little before, but I fucking hate this man. He started all of a sudden talking about how like the values of Vegas don't line up with like their family and how it doesn't like make sense for them to live there. And so I think it's because of the 2016 election and like it was like 2018, so it had been a couple years
when they decided to move.
But anyway, so they moved to fucking Flagstaff, Arizona.
I think it was the end of 2017, maybe.
Regardless, they moved to Flagstaff, Arizona. They're all like super, super spread apart, and they bought this giant piece of property on Coyote Pass, is what they keep calling it, where they're gonna like build houses, and it's gonna be great, and they're gonna be in Arizona, and everyone's like, oh, Flagstaff, Arizona is so beautiful, whatever. Their children... Oh my God. It's like
I feel so bad for these. So basically, like in the span of this show, most of the kids, all the ones who had been born at this point, moved from Lehi, Utah, which is where the show starts, to Vegas.
Right.
They are there for about 7 years. Then they move to Flagstaff. And then now where we're at in the show, one of the wives has just suggested that they move back to Utah.
And also, they have moved a bunch within that because they had like rental houses.
Yes.
So each of those
locations... So in those cities, they still moved
It like
Twice.
usually twice, yeah. Which is just like that, like moving is one of the most stressful things that can happen to you in your life. Like if you look at like the stressors, even if you're going to a better place, whatever, it's like very stressful.
My therapist always says it takes 2 years to get used to any major change, including like a positive change. So like these kids quite literally have not ever had like a stable place, with the exception of maybe they were in their houses in Vegas like more than 2 years.
Yeah.
I really don't know. But where we're at in the show right now, they've been in Flagstaff for almost 2 years. They still haven't built any property on there. And they haven't built any buildings on their property that they bought.
And the pandemic just started.
Yes.
Which is wild.
It's like March of 2020.
And is like a whole other conversation that we're going to have. What is most important to me and what is the most different fucking shift, like the move completely unhinged, right? Like Kody was like, no, we need to move. And to me, it really...
yeah, I think do you want to tell?
You want to?
I really want to.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so basically we start, I guess it's like it's either season 12 or 13, wherever we ended last.
Yeah.
Kody has been saying, like, offhandedly, like, you know, I really miss Utah. I really want to go back to Utah. He, like, pulls Leon aside at this, like, grand opening of this bed and breakfast that Meri has opened in Utah, which is a whole nother, like, side plot.
Irrelevant at this point.
Yeah, kind of irrelevant. It doesn't really matter. You think it's going to be a much bigger deal than they make it in the show.
Not. We want to go stay there, but anyway.
I know. Anyway, he like pulls Leon aside in the middle of this grand opening to like just kind of bum them out by being like, Vegas has never been home to me. Like, I really want to go back to Utah. And Leon is like an adult at this point. I don't
know anything about Leon. Leon's a real person. I think, to me, the energy of this conversation that they're having, it seems, and the way that Leon talks about Kody, it seems like they have, like, a real talk dad and kiddo type relationship. And so, I don't know. I didn't think that Leon seemed stressed out by that conversation.
Maybe I'm projecting.
I don't know. It seemed to me like they were like, yeah, no, I fucking love Utah, because they do love Utah.
No, I think, but that's what I mean, is I think that they are an adult and they are not, because they're not affected by this. Yeah. They don't live there anymore.
It's not relevant.
They don't live with their parents anymore.
Yeah.
So they are like, no, like, if that's where you want to be, like, I completely understand. Yeah. And like, but it is like, I feel like it's bringing down the vibe, because Leon's like clearly trying to be excited with Meri, their mom, about this grand opening, and everybody else is like having a party and eating cinnamon rolls.
I don't think it's okay for Kody to have done this. I want to be really clear, but it didn't seem like Leon was like upset.
I don't know. Maybe I'm projecting. It seems like they were acting like I do when my dad is like, time to talk about something that you don't want to talk about. And I'm like, okay, like I'll try to validate you and treat you like an adult. Hopefully you'll do the same to me.
Right.
Anyway. So, like, that's, like, the first really big thing. And he's mentioned it kind of offhandedly until then. And then, like, the show, like, really kind of makes it into a plot point. And again, like, this is reality TV. It's 45-minute episodes, and each episode takes place over, like, a 2 or 3 week span. Yeah. So, like, it's only 45 minutes of their 2 or 3 weeks that we're seeing.
Right.
But anyway, so then Kody, like, goes back and he makes this whole presentation to the wives. And what he is saying is, like, logically, like, it makes the most sense for us to move from Vegas right now. And all 4 of the wives are like, I don't want to move. My kids just got settled. 3 of their 18 kids are about to start their junior year of high school, which is, like, obviously, like, the most important, seconded only to their senior year of high school.
Right.
And they're like, we don't want to move them when they have they've just gotten into a routine where we've been in the same place for 7 years. Like, now you want to move? What the fuck? And he literally says, like, no, like, financially it makes sense. You know, like, I think that, like, this is the best time to sell. Which this is, like, he's so stupid.
Oh, my God.
This is, like, 2014 or 15, maybe. It's an okay time to sell, you know? But, like, it's about to get really bad.
Yeah.
And he doesn't know that, I guess.
No.
But, like, there's literally...
He just keeps being like, it's going to be better for our children in the long run if we have this money so that we can pay for them to go to college.
Yes.
He's saying we have to prioritize our children's future.
And over how they feel right now.
Over how they feel right now.
So he's like, we're going to sell these houses. We're going to make all this money from selling these houses because it's a great time to sell. And then we're going to buy land in Flagstaff, Arizona, which I have vetted and lines up with our values more. And I just think it's more Republican, like Phoebe said. We don't know.
I don't really
Maybe
give
it's
a shit.
Completely different reason, but that seems to be the vibe.
The most gratifying moment for me is when the fucking realtor that they've hired comes in and he's like, because we need to sell right now because it's the best time to sell. And she's like, oh, is it?
The realtor clearly is like, interesting. Because she knows it's a terrible time to sell.
Because she knows it's not a good time to sell. And it doesn't matter. I don't fucking know. Like,
and Janelle, one of the wives, who is a real estate agent, is also like, I mean, I kind of see where you're coming from, But, like, right now, she says something along the lines of, like, right now where the market is, it could go either way.
Right.
It might be better to wait and see what happens.
And she's also, like, depending on the timing, if they go on the market during the winter, nobody's fucking buying a house
Nobody
during
buys a house during
holidays.
Christmas.
Because there's too much that's going on. You don't have fucking time to buy a house.
Yes.
There's too many...
Anyway, so he's like, no, we're going to sell. And then the other thing that he says is Janelle, who normally is, like, a very kind of, like, easygoing. She has, like, really come into, like, stating her opinion, and I love that for her.
I love Janelle.
This is, like, she doesn't normally state her opinion that much. She's normally a pretty, like, you know... She's a really
like,
good partner.
Yeah.
Like, she absolutely listens to...
I would marry Janelle in a heartbeat.
Yeah, she absolutely listens to what everyone else is saying.
Yeah.
Like, at least that we see on the show. Again, we don't know. Maybe she's the worst off camera.
She seems like somebody who maybe you would need to, like, check in with her privately.
Yeah.
Like, depending on if you, for some reason, had 3 other wives who had big opinions. But, like, she's great.
Yeah, I really like her. But anyway,
like,
she is like, I'm not moving my kids. Like, she's not this stern normally. And she's like, I'm not moving my kids. Christine, who is the other one that has about similar age kids to Janelle, is like, I'm not moving my kids. Like, what the hell? They just got started, like, or settled. And then Kody literally is like, I don't care. Like, the kids are always going to be upset every time we move. I don't really care. It's going to be better for us in the long run. We're going to have all this money. Like, I don't care how the kids feel. I don't care about their feelings.
Like, he thinks he's a fucking real estate tycoon. Like,
yes.
I don't even...
This man thinks he knows everything. And I think, like, that's the reason we think and we have no confirmation, from the show at least, that he is Trumpy. They have said he's conservative in the past, before 2016. But, like, the things that he's saying and the things that he's doing... He keeps
putting his hands up like
he keeps doing this thing.
Which is like a Trump thing. It's like the okay hands where you put both of them up at the same time.
And go like this.
Which is also very stressful because apparently that's like a white supremacist symbol. Yeah. No. Sorry. I think it's okay to say this is what it looks like. You know what I mean?
But anyway, like,
yes.
So the wives are all like, no, I hate this idea. And he's like, I want everyone to think about it. He eventually, like, talks them into it. All of their kids are super fucking pissed, as they should be.
Yeah.
And, like, one of Janelle's kids is literally like, I'm gonna run away from home. Like, this sucks. And I don't fucking blame him.
No.
It sucks.
Yeah.
Anyway, so then they finally move to Flagstaff, Arizona. It's so fucking stressful.
Yeah.
Christine buys a house. The other 3 rent.
Yeah.
When they get to their place in Flagstaff, Meri, his first wife, is in her house for a week. And then the neighbors basically complain to the person who owns the house she's renting.
Yeah.
Where they, like, kick her out. And, like, Phoebe was saying, like, I don't think that's legal. And I think they're right. But I was like, honestly, if Meri doesn't have the money to hire a lawyer to be like, hey, it wasn't legal of you to kick me out because I'm in a plural family, like, it doesn't matter if it's illegal because she can't fight it.
Yeah. Also, Cody's not going to help her. He doesn't give a shit.
No. It's also so obvious, which I think we said at the end of the last one, but, like, Kody clearly doesn't give a shit about Meri. And, like, where we're at right now, it seems like he doesn't give a shit about anyone but himself.
I have a lot of feelings about Kody. None of them are positive. This man may be... I just... In the way in which he just completely bulldozes over people and is so absolutely fucking unkind and uncaring, his energy, it seems as if from this terrible fucking TV show that he exclusively thinks of other people as an extension of himself, which is like textbook narcissism. And I don't know. I can like, say that word and, like, I don't actually fucking know anything. The reason I don't think he's
a narcissist,
go ahead,
as someone who spent a lot of time around someone who definitely is, is the way he acted at the beginning of the show. But is that just because he's like that?
He's that much more comfortable on camera now.
Good. Yes, that's what I'm saying. Because is he just showing more of himself, or is it that the power of being famous has changed him? Does that make sense?
Yes, and I personally don't care because he treats his children like such shit without realizing it. For instance, like, literally Aurora, who is one of Robin's kids, she is, like, clearly she's been, like, having panic attacks, I guess.
Is it Aurora?
Yeah, Brianna's the younger one.
Oh, you're right.
Aurora's the oldest.
She's 17 at this point.
Yes. She's been having panic attacks because everything is really fucking stressful because they're moving a lot and there's a lot going on.
They're moving a lot. They never have any stability. They see their dad, like, once a week.
Literally, Kody, anytime something is changing or happening, he sits down all the kids and also the wife and is like...
Just has an argument with the wife in front of them.
And it's absurd. I want to be really clear, as someone who hopes to be a parent in the near future, like, you should just never fucking do that. Like, if Morgan and I had a disagreement about whether or not we were going to rent or buy a home, and I was telling I would not say, like, let's all sit together, baby goof, I just need you to know that, like, Morgan
your mom
and
are in
I
a fight
are
right
we're
now.
not getting along about, like, that's so fucking. They also are children of divorce.
Yes.
Like, they are children of divorce. They've been moved around so many fucking times.
And like Robin has said that her first marriage was like abusive, so it's not
Right.
just that they didn't get along. Like there was, and we don't know the specifics.
No, I have no
and
idea.
it's not our business.
No.
but like,
But it's just like
they were already in a stressful situation.
And it's
Robin gets divorced. Now she's with Kody, who is even stressful.
And it's just completely fucking absurd the way that he talks in front of these children. And like literally the sentence that Robin says to Kody is like, stop scaring my kids, don't scare. Because they're like then looking at houses. And then literally Aurora, who is like for the first time appearing to not be like on the verge of a breakdown. She's like, oh wow, like this house is really cool. Clearly just trying to express like, oh, I'm excited that we're looking for houses. I'm having a nice time. Trying to appease him. And then he literally goes, well, if we pick this house, you'll have to change high schools. At which point,
it's her senior year.
It's her senior year, and both of the daughters, Brianna and Aurora, at that point are like, what? And Robin's like, we're not fucking changing high schools. And Cody's like, okay, well, if we got this house, we would have to. Then Robin's like, well, then this isn't an option. Like, why would you show us this house? Also, we'd figure out a way to have them not move. Also, we're not fucking doing that. And then he does just about the same fucking thing because Isabel has scoliosis and needs back surgery. And it's like
Christine's kid.
This is Christine's
a
kid.
Different scene,
different time.
moment.
Later on during like the pandemic, like the shutdown, pre-vaccinations, pre-anything. They're not even, the government's still lying and saying that we shouldn't be wearing masks. So like very stressful times. And he literally to Isabel is like, okay, well, like, I mean, can you just go on your own? By herself to get surgery at 17 years old.
They're in Arizona.
Yes.
She has scoliosis, needs to get like the back straightening rods in your back surgery.
In New Jersey.
Which is a really, really intense surgery.
And it doesn't fucking matter. Like to hear a child, like to say to your teenage child, can you go, like I wouldn't say that to an adult person. I would never make someone go get surgery by themselves. And literally like Christine in like the private interview part is like, I'm just trying to not scream at him because it's just like a well-known fact that Kody just like goes off on a tangent and says complete bullshit.
He doesn't mean what he says.
He never, ever. And so that's obviously something that's stressful as a child to hear. So it's like two beats and like Isabel says something and then she starts sobbing and is like, I'm not getting surgery by myself. That's so scary.
And then she's like, whatever, we'll
And
wait.
literally then Christine is talking to Isabel, completely fucking ignoring Kody. And she's like, we're not doing that. I would never make you do that. Not in a million years would I make you get surgery by yourself. Like, I am going with you. Like, and I just can't fucking imagine having a partner who says such stupid shit without thinking in front of children. Like, he's a terrible dad.
And like the way he's a great dad to anyone younger than like 6. Yeah. Whenever he is there. Like, he's really great at like playing pretend. You see like these videos of him with the younger kids who right now are like 5 and 8 or something like that.
Yeah.
And he's great with them. And it's because they don't have strong opinions because they are children. And then once his children start having their own opinions and like, he can't communicate with them. And it's like I think what he thinks he's doing is treating them like an adult, but what he's doing is not giving them respect.
Yeah. And what he keeps on saying is like, you can't make these decisions that are entirely based on emotion. And that's all that he's doing. Like, it's this like very like Trumpy rhetoric.
And all of his wives know that. They're like literally Christine in this Isabel interaction and her one-on-one is like, I know that he doesn't mean what he's saying. He's just angry. And I was like, okay, if you are married to someone who's like that, I wouldn't have my kids around them.
No. Like don't let that person
And what
be
he's
there.
saying, like, is... I think that's the thing, is about half the time when Cody's saying what he's saying, as far as, like, his point, I'm usually on his side. So, like, the big argument he keeps having with Robin is being, like, illogical.
Yeah.
They have been trying to rent. They're getting kicked out of their house because the people they're renting from currently are selling.
Yeah.
And they're selling to someone else. So they have to be out in, like, 30 days. And Robin won't concede to being, like, okay, we need to buy a house. There's nothing for rent that works. We need to buy a house.
Because there's just, like, nowhere to rent in Flagstaff.
No, and, like, and that happens. Like, and I don't know if it's that there's really absolutely nowhere, or if there's just nothing in their budget, or if it's, like, I don't know the situation.
But Robin keeps being like, God's going to give us a rental, which is a lot.
Yes.
And we won't get into that.
No. And that's what the belief she's holding on to. And what a good partner would do is say, like, hey, it seems like you're having a really big reaction.
Yes.
And, like, while I agree that I don't want to buy a house right now because it takes money away from our future and from our savings and things, like, I don't see another option.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely am okay with you continuing to look for places to rent.
Yeah.
But I really need you to hear that, like, we need a place for our kids to live. And instead what he's doing is, like, calling her stupid. Yeah. And being like, we have to buy a house. I'm going to buy a house without you. Like, he's
literally, he's so mean. What he could
so rude.
what he could say is, if he didn't want to say, I hear you. I think he could literally be like, okay, I'm hearing you. If we need more time to look for a rental, do you want us to live in a hotel room for a period of time and like get storage, like a storage space to put our things
like
in?
That seems more stressful for the kids for these reasons.
Yeah, and like what is your plan? Like how do you feel about that? Because to me that seems like it's going to be really hard. We are going to be able to sell this house that we are going to buy because people are buying houses here because there's nowhere to fucking rent. We could buy this house and then use it as a rental to get income that way. Like we have options for like what we're going to do here, but right now we need a place to live.
Yeah, what is not an option is sitting here saying la la la, I want to rent.
Right.
And like,
and she's just like having a really hard time.
She's sobbing. She's clearly having a reaction that's not matching. And that's the thing is like, as we said in the first one, none of these adults know how to communicate effectively.
No.
I think part of it is because when you grow up in religion, like anytime you start questioning or developing your own opinions, like at least, I mean, I didn't grow up FLDS or anything, but I did grow up Southern Baptist. And it is very much like, you know, God will provide, stop asking questions. And so I don't know if it's just like because they stayed in that much longer than I did, they never developed the skill of being like, you know, the person who disagrees with me isn't necessarily attacking.
That's hard.
And that's a hard skill to learn for sure, but you only learn it through therapy.
The other thing is that Kody is attacking.
Yes.
Like it's not that he's not attacking.
No, I think they all tend to attack each other when they disagree.
No.
He's the worst offender for sure.
Oh my God.
But like, and I would say the least offender is Christine. I feel like Christine
love her.
Does a great job of being like, it sounds like you're not being heard.
No, and like
it sounds like
I don't know where Christine fucking learned it because she has been in the most stressful relationship for so many fucking years. But like, there's a scene where it is Meri's house is in an area that has wildfires, and so they're on like pre-leaving, which is wild because that's literally what we were at.
Yeah.
Like
it's like a warning where they're like, hey, you might get told that you need to evacuate. Go ahead and pack something.
Pre-evacuation or like whatever.
I think it's called pre-evacuation.
I think that's what it is. But anyway, it's like one step before they're like, you should probably get out of here. This isn't necessarily something that's going to be stressful, but we want to make sure people are out of the area.
Also, none of them have lived anywhere with wildfires, I don't think.
That's true.
So it's also twice as stressful because they've never dealt with it before.
Right. As far as like we've seen.
Right.
That we know of. But regardless, Meri is like having a breakdown and she's just like screaming at people. Like she's like grabbing like bins and is like yelling, and Christine comes up to her and like touches her and says something like kind of silly goofy, and then Meri like fucking lashes out. She's like, don't make a joke out of this right now. And Christine immediately is like, I'm not making a joke out of this, I'm so sorry, what do you need from me? And then Meri's like, blah, 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 blah. And then she's like, sweetheart, what do you need from me? And then Meri's like, get away, or like something. And then Christine just like backs off, and then the second that Robin comes up and is like, Meri starts sobbing into Robin's shoulder, and that's what needed to happen.
I think
like,
that's the thing. Like if they didn't have Kody, I think these women would have worked out their issues.
Yeah,
a long fucking time
ago.
Yeah,
because it's like they're okay at co-regulation. Like they're doing all right with that, and
they could be better. But when Cody's not there, they do so much better.
Yeah,
like you see them they had a difficult conversation. Oh, something that we haven't fucking mentioned at all. Kody really, really wants on Coyote Pass, that land that they bought, to build one massive mansion.
Oh my God.
For all 4 wives and all 18 kids.
And Christine just doesn't want to live.
Yeah. So of the 4 wives, Meri and Robin are both like, I see the pros, I see the cons. Like,
oh, I don't think Meri wants to at all.
Oh, that's so funny. I feel like she does.
She keeps on being like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, this is
no,
really
but remember
business.
Later, like when they were all talking about it, and finally Christine was like, "How do you feel?" She was like, "I mean, I feel like there was more pros because like when we had issues with each other, we had to work them out because we were
that's
see
true."
Each other.
And Janelle really wants to do it.
And Janelle really wants to do it, and Christine really fucking does not. And it's not just Christine like being pissy.
No.
Like I think something must have happened.
I have no idea.
In their old house that like she hasn't talked about. She's talked a little bit about, you were in the bathroom, but she kept saying that she considers herself like the basement wife, and I guess it's like a term or like a thing that people say in their church, but she feels like she always comes last, especially when they were all in the same house. And she was like, when I have my own house, I feel like I'm the master of like my domain. Like I don't have to.
And she's clearly like a peacekeeper. Like it's very evident.
Her and Robin both, I think, are
that Christine is like going out of her way to like make sure that folks are not arguing, that like people are feeling heard, that like, you know what I mean. And I think that Meri is somebody who can get a little bit, I don't know what's the word, like reactive.
She's abrasive for sure. Like at least right now, like I still like Meri and care about her. It is so evident to me that she has been hurt so much
by this man, so she gets a lot of slack
by this
from me.
man, and by like like, I do think she might have, like, a drinking problem. I've seen people say that. Not that we've ever seen her drink.
No.
But, like, the way that her demeanor has changed, it does seem like she's, like, as someone who's, like, been around addiction and, like, you know what I mean? It wouldn't surprise me, and it would be normal.
There's been a couple of times where somebody said, like, yeah, remember, Meri, when you said that? And she's like,
oh my God,
never said that.
Yeah, and
there's literally an interview with her where she's like, I don't remember saying that. And that's, like, basically all she says.
And like, it could literally just be PTSD because that affects your memory.
Very
but,
possible.
like, that happens with Phoebe and I a lot, where Phoebe and I are about to get in an argument, and then the other one will be like, don't you remember you said blah, blah, blah,
That's
blah,
true,
blah.
yeah.
And the other one will be like, I'm so sorry, I literally don't remember saying
No.
And the first person will be like, then we're not going to have an argument.
Yeah.
Because clearly...
And the other person's like...
You're not lying about not remembering
Right.
it.
And the other person's like, this is how I feel right now. I cannot imagine that I would have said that at the time. And the other person's
maybe you misunderstood, like, maybe I really just forgot.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, okay, then there's no point in this argument based on something we used to say. Let's have a discussion about how we feel
but instead what's happening is everyone's just screaming at each other because, and also, like, Meri is not clear about what she wants. There's this whole kerfuffle about, like, whether she's gonna live in this one specific area on Coyote Pass or if Robin's gonna live there. And I feel like in that moment is when I realized Kody so blatantly thinks of Robin as, like, the underdog, the wife who's not getting enough love, the wife who is getting, like, the shit end of the stick. His favorite. She's clearly his favorite.
That's not on Robin, in my opinion.
No,
that's on Kody.
And the other thing is that Robin clearly also feels that way, and the energy of it, and I have no idea, I'm not on this TV show, I'm not in these people's lives, I don't know if any of this is real, but it seems as if Kody is going to Robin and saying, like, here are these other things that these wives are demanding that they have. Isn't that completely unhinged? And, like, you deserve to be getting more, and I'm so upset about it. And so it's like pitting Robin against them.
I feel like he pits them against each other a lot.
All the time he's doing that.
And then he'll be like, I don't know why these ladies are always mad at each other. And I'm like, it's because he's like always playing telephone with them.
Yes.
And he's like, it's like, you remember that kid who would like mess it up on purpose so that it would be something funnier at the end?
Yes.
It's like he's doing that.
But so, it's like what meaner.
Yes. So like so first, let me back it up.
Yeah.
Kody really, really wants everyone to be in one house. To be fair, if I were Kody or if I were one of the wives, I think I would want everyone in one house.
Yeah, I think it makes more sense.
Like one huge mansion, like it would be so much easier. And they didn't know the pandemic was coming, but it would have been way fucking easier with the pandemic.
Yeah.
Because like, granted the CDC was like, don't be in groups of 10 or more, but their whole family together would have been like 20. And then they could have just
all stayed.
Had one person in charge of spending $1,000 every week at the grocery store.
Yeah.
And, like, that one person could have gone out, but nobody would ever get bored.
No. You'd have people to hang out with. Like, they wouldn't be feeling like
there would be plenty of space to go away from each other, but, like, at the same, like, because it's so heartbreaking to see Christine has a 7-year-old Truly, and Robin has Solomon, or no, Truly must be older, because
she's way older. Solomon's 8 now.
Solomon's, 8, so Truly must be 9 or 10.
Yeah.
And Robin also has Ari, who's like 5 or 4.
Yeah.
Anyway, the 3 of them are the babies, and they normally all play together, and they can't right now because of the pandemic. And at least Robin's 2 kids have each other.
Right.
But, like, Truly doesn't have anyone in her house that's her age. No. And that's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Like, the kid who's closest to her is, like, 16, I think.
Yeah.
So, anyway, but, like... So there's the whole one house thing. And since the moment that all 4 wives basically said, hey, we talked about it. And that's the thing, is all 4 wives talked about it without Kody there.
Yeah.
And nobody yelled.
No.
Nobody was fucking mean.
No.
Christine was like, and all of them have admitted, like, in their one-on-ones, like, I wish I could be more honest. I want to work on being more honest. And I think from what we've seen on the show, they are trying to be more honest with each other.
Yeah.
And it's not that they are, like, ever lying. It's that they're big, like, omitters to keep the peace. Because all 4 of them were raised as women, especially raised as women in religion.
But in this conversation, it's basically, they all decided that it didn't make sense.
They all decided that if one person was so against it and other people were on the fence, they shouldn't do it.
Yeah, and they also essentially said, like, they could see why the cons outweighed the pros. Like, for fucking sure. And also... Kody's completely unhinged thing that he brings up is him being like, well, if one person wanted to leave, like, what do we do with the empty space in that house? And it's like, whoa.
He keeps bringing up, what if someone wants to leave over and over, and none of the wives at this point have said
anything
like
that.
They keep being like, obviously I've wanted to leave the same way, like, everybody wants to leave. And, like, I mean, we've only been married for 3 years, but I've never wanted to leave.
Yeah, no.
But we discuss our problems instead of sweeping them under the rug.
Also just like, if we were going to talk about, like, we talk about getting divorced every once in a while, mostly as like a jokey, I don't even know.
I wouldn't even say we talk about it. We joke about it.
That's true. That's what it is. But I would never out of the blue be like, Morgan, where are you going to live if we get a divorce? Like, what? Like, that is like, it's him. And literally he just keeps being like, well, it's a reality. It's something that I think that we should talk about. And it's like, that's just like the biggest argument as to why you guys shouldn't have a giant house. And he's clearly so hurt over the fact that people don't want to have a big house together.
Every episode at least once he'll be like, these women always make emotional decisions.
Yes.
And his biggest like reason that he thinks is worth more percentage than any con is that he wants to be in one house.
Yeah.
That is an emotional reason.
Yes. He's like, that's what the principle is, and the principle of plural marriage. That's what, like, in our religion we're, like, supposed to be doing. He's, like, clearly... then he just keeps on saying, like, I'm feeling really cynical and jaded about plural marriage.
Oh, my God.
That part where they're all in the snow, they're, like, the girlies...
There's a really cute moment between the four wives.
They're doing, like, snow angels together. And he literally, like, they're at Coyote Pass, and, like, the guy that he's talking to is like, oh, that's really cute that they're all making snow angels together. And then in a one-on-one interview, literally, Cody's like, I'm just cynical about it. I've seen them treat each other like shit enough times. Like, the snow angel thing doesn't mean anything. Like, I'm just like, I'm tired of it.
He was like, it used to make me happy when I saw my wives getting along, and now it just makes me angry. And I was like,
bro.
So, oh my God. Anyway, so Kody just keeps getting worse every season.
I hate him.
And there's so many, there's just so much.
There's too much.
So first, him and Meri have not been getting along basically since a little bit before season 12, so we're right about where we ended. And, like, it started with Meri doing the catfish thing. I think we talked a little bit about that in the last episode.
I have to go to the bathroom so bad. Can you chat while I'm gone?
Yeah, that's fine.
I'll run. I'll sprint. Okay.
So Meri got catfish. She was talking to this person online who she thought was a man who was, like, flirting with her. And, like, that person is a shitty person for taking advantage of her. It does suck because, like, I know that Meri's kid was like, you're definitely being catfished. And, like, other people in Meri's life were like, you're definitely being catfished. And Meri didn't believe them. And it's because Meri is so lonely because she doesn't get any fucking time with Kody. And it's so obvious he's not in love with her anymore. It's obvious they're not in love with each other anymore. It's really sad. And at first you're like, I think if that's your only problem, I'm not a therapist, whatever. Like, I think it's possible to work things out. But it's now more that it's much more than they just don't love each other anymore. They are fucking mean to each other. He's really, really, really mean to her. And she, I feel like, just acts in self-defense. They both desperately need therapy where they're actually honest. I don't know if either of them are in a place where they're capable of that right now. Much more so him than her. But anyway. So, their relationship has just been going downhill, going downhill, going downhill. It is their 30th wedding anniversary. This is like the last season, maybe it was in the season. So season 15, it's like 2019. They decide to go on a road trip, just the two of them. It's like a day trip, just the two of them to go and, like, spend time together and talk and whatever. And he literally says, like, you know, I think in his one-on-one as they're talking about this night that they had together, like, trying to get any amount of romance back, you know, he's talking and he's like, I think Meri really wants to bring back what we used to have. And I don't know how to tell her that I regret what we used to have. Sorry? He also says, like, I feel like I've been deceived into having a relationship that is not at all the way it was portrayed to me. Then, him and Meri, one-on-one, or I guess two-on-one, go see their therapist. At the therapist, she's like, you know, it sounds like you guys in 18 months haven't even, since the last time I saw you, which is a long fucking time, haven't even been able to, like, treat each other like friends. And Meri, like, from what we can see the TV show, who fucking knows if it's true, how much of it is, like, scripted, I don't know. But what Meri says is, like, you know, I feel like anytime I try to hold his hand or, like, be nice or, like, say something nice, he just, like, is snotty right back. And then basically, like, he says, like, yeah, like, I don't like you. He doesn't say it quite like that, but that's essentially the vibe that he's putting off. The therapist is like, I think you guys are really incapable of being, like, honest with each other. Like, it sounds like you're not having a lot of, like, honest conversations. Meri is like, yeah, no, I feel like anytime I try to be honest with him, fully. It seems like he doesn't want to hear it. He thinks that I'm just like being a bitch. I don't know. And then the therapist is like, do you think here in therapy we can be truly honest with each other about how you're both feeling? And Kody looks at the therapist and says, no, I'm not really up for hearing any criticisms. And then the therapist looks at him and says, are you serious? Because what the fuck? Who goes into therapy and says, I'm actually here just to complain about her, and I don't want to hear any complaints about me because I've actually done nothing wrong. Sorry? Then, like, you know, as Phoebe was saying earlier, they go out to Coyote Pass, all 4 wives and Kody, talking about, like, they're not going to do the one house thing. Like, who is going to build their house where? He originally wanted Meri. According to Kody, he thought Meri wanted to be, like, in the very far back closest to the trees. When they're all saying that, she's like, oh, I don't know if I want to be all the way back there. Like, the house I live in now has too many trees, and I feel like I don't get enough sunlight. In Meri's opinion, it's like an offhanded comment about, like, maybe I'll think more about this. What Kody hears is, I don't fucking want that piece. Like, how dare you try to give it to me? Whatever. So he goes and talks to Robin, telling Robin she has to be in the tree lot, and Meri can have the sunshine lot. And Robin's, like, kind of upset by that because she feels like she just gets pushed to the side, but she's, like, again, like, very passive. And so she's like, okay, like, that's fine. Then a few weeks, months, however long later, all 4 of them and Kody are back at the lot again. And Cody's like, yeah, and Meri's going to be here. Robin's going to be in the trees. And Meri's like, oh, I thought I was going to be in the trees. And he's like, no, you said you didn't want it. And she's like, oh, like, I didn't say I didn't want it. I just meant, like, you know, maybe I'll have to rethink, like, how I do things, or, like, maybe cut some trees down or whatever. And then him and Meri and Robin all get in a fight. And it's literally, like I said earlier, it's because he is playing telephone with them where he's messing things up on purpose. And so, like, all 3 of them get in this really big fight. They end up leaving. And then later when Meri and Robin talk by themselves about, like, the tree lot thing.
Oh, my God.
They work it out.
Yeah.
They find out that, like, Kody was the reason there was a miscommunication.
Yes.
I talked about how in therapy, with Meri, Kody was like, I don't want to hear any criticism.
Oh my God. That was the funniest shit I've heard in my life.
The therapist clearly looked at him and said, are you serious? And then what did she say next?
Oh my God, it was so funny. They were trying to say, like, things that are holding them back from communicating well.
Yes,
and Meri
had a really long
like,
list.
sentences.
She was like, I do get easily offended.
Yeah.
Also, anytime Kody had a criticism of her, for the most part, she was like, I do that. That's fair.
And then Kody says the things that are holding him back from communicating well are fear and anger. And then literally the therapist goes, what does she say?
She
goes,
says, like, that's introspective for you, or something like that.
Yeah, she's like, that's actually very deep. Like, which is so funny, because clearly what he has said...
He said 2 things.
...is not nearly as
he basically just copied what Meri said.
That therapist is roasting him. It was so funny.
He doesn't realize it. But anyway, like, so Meri and Robin, by themselves, work out this, like, tree lot thing.
Yes.
I don't even remember how it ended, but essentially then Robin, who again is a peacemaker, goes out with just Kody and Meri to the land, and she's like, here's what I'm thinking, like... Let's work this out. Everybody calm down. And then again, Meri and Kody get into a fight.
Yeah.
Anyway, a few months pass. They're back on the land at Coyote Pass. The 4 wives and Kody.
Yes.
Janelle has brought, like, a huge notepad because she's like, I think we're all communicating badly.
Yeah.
Good for Janelle.
Yeah.
She's like, I think we should communicate better. What are some ways we can do that? Let's brainstorm. It's also during the pandemic, so that's why they keep going out to this land, because at least it's outside.
Yeah.
And
they're like sitting 6 feet apart.
6 feet apart.
And Janelle's essentially being like, what do you need to have happen in a conversation to feel like you're being heard?
Yes.
It's great.
It's really good.
She's
and
like,
I feel
communication styles.
Yeah. She's like, our communication styles don't mesh. Like, I want to work on mine. And so Janelle's like, I'm working on being more honest. But, like, you know, and, like, they're saying normal things that you would probably say, like, you know, please don't interrupt me. Like, I want you to try and, like, you know, say what I said back to me to make sure you understood it. Like, these are things you should be learning middle school, high school, but, like, whatever. All progress is good. So finally, it's like Christine, I think, turns to Kody and is like, Kody, you haven't said anything. Like, what do you want to say? And he literally says, like, I just don't give a shit. And they're like, about...
Anymore is what he says.
Yeah, about, like, the family, about this conversation, like, you know, what do you mean? And he's like, I actually kind of feel like the family is holding me back from, like, achieving my personal goals.
Can you fucking imagine?
This man who convinced 4 women to marry him, have 18 children with him, is like, I don't know if I'm really feeling it anymore.
And he keeps on saying the sentence, like, they always say it's my fault. Anytime the wives are bickering, they say it's my fault, yada, yada. Yeah, you made the decision to live this life and marry this many people and have this many kids and move them all over fucking hell and back. He also has a point where he says, did you talk about him yelling and saying if we had lived in Vegas, we could have saved so much money?
No. And it's just very Trumpy behavior.
Yes.
Because it's like, what I wish they could do, and I don't know how reality TV shows work, but I wish the director was like, hold on.
Let's do the playback.
Here's you.
15 different times.
2 years ago convincing your wives to move. Here's all 4 of them saying no.
No.
Here's a few months later when your realtor says, I don't know if this is the best idea.
And you say,
no, I know everything. Great. Here's you guys moving to Flagstaff and there's nowhere to move.
And you're like, no, it's going to be fine.
And you're like, no, it's fine. Like, and then he's like, I don't know why everyone's blaming me that we don't have any money because we moved here. And it's like, because it was your idea. Nobody wanted to do it.
Nobody wanted to do it. And then he was like, we have to move right now and it's going to save us a shit ton of money. And if we don't move right now, then
we'll triplets. Be poor and living in boxes. And he's very fear-mongery.
He's very fear-mongery. And then his vibe for like the timing of it is like he wants to make sure that the triplets, which are the 3 girls who are the same age, all from different moms, can go into high school.
It's 2 girls and 1 boy. It's Gabriel, Isabel, and Aurora.
No.
Yeah.
There's another girl.
Gwen? Gwen's younger.
Yeah, Gwen.
No. Oh, maybe.
Yeah. When they say the triplets, they always mean girls.
No, but Gwen and Isabel are both Christines.
No, you're right.
So it can't be Isabel. So maybe it's just Gwen, Aurora, and Gabriel?
Does Janelle have a kid who's the same age as Isabel?
That's Gabriel.
Oh, okay. All right, whatever. Yeah, that's got to be. But it doesn't fucking matter. Anyway, he's like, we want these kids to all have their junior and senior year together. Which then, of course, gets fucked over because of the pandemic. Like, their senior year is, like, screwed, which sucks.
It's just, like, every major decision that they have made that the wives didn't want to do and he wanted to do, they do because he's the man and the head of the household. And, like, they do all eventually agree to it. It's not like he's actually, like, forcing anyone.
No.
But he has to talk them into it.
They're very hesitant for a very long time about it.
And then now, like, where we're at right now, he's like, we should have stayed in Vegas and we would have saved a shit ton of money because they've had to move Meri twice.
Yeah.
They've had to move Robin twice.
Yeah.
They had to buy a house for Christine. Eventually, now they bought a house for Robin. Janelle has also moved twice. And all 3 wives, it's because the people they were renting from decided to sell the house.
Yeah.
Because now, 2 years later, is a good time to sell your house.
Right. Yeah.
It also took them a full year to sell all 4 homes in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Because they're huge.
Yeah.
And maybe they're in a weird spot. I don't know. I've never bought a home, never sold a home.
I want to say, I don't dislike Robin at this point at all.
I don't either.
I don't. Like, there's the shady dog kicking thing that we never actually saw on the reality TV show that happened. That wasn't cool. There's this recurring thing with Kody with dogs about how he, like, doesn't want to own a dog and he hates dogs. And, like, it's weird.
But all the wives have dogs, and he keeps complaining. Weird. All the wives except Robin have dogs.
It sounds like he's allergic to them, but they didn't say that until, like, very recently, which is weird. But anyway, separate from dogs at all, I do like Robin.
Robin is the one, again, this is only based on the things that we see on the show.
Yeah, we have no idea.
Like, how they edit it. We have no idea how these people are off camera.
No. It is evident that she is the favorite wife, but it is evident that it's
Cody's fault.
And it's also Cody's fault that she is of the mindset that these other wives are getting things that she is not getting. The other thing that's completely fucking wild to me is that, like, it's so clear that Kody is basing part of these women's worth on, like, how many children they can give him and whether they're still able to give him children. And so he doesn't give a shit about Meri anymore. At least, again, I don't know these people, but that is what it seems like.
That's what the viewer seems to see.
He keeps having this conversation in front of Robin, like, with other people. Like, they go and see this other polygamous family. And he's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm done having kids. And it's like, all of his wives are 50 except for Robin.
Who's 40.
Who, is she 40?
She's 41, yeah, she said it.
Oh, yeah. And she literally in, like, one-on-one is like, I don't think he should be saying that in front of people. Like, he's talking about me. Like,
everyone
that's
knows he's only talking about me.
It's not anybody's business except for ours. Like, and then that's true. Like, why the fuck is he just doesn't understand what is, like, a reasonable conversation
he
to
doesn't
be
understand
having.
boundaries
That's what it is.
at
Thank
all
you.
for anyone.
Around talking about things, around like things that certain people might feel sensitive about. Like, and Robin, she, people make fun of her and they call her like Sobbin' Robin. She cries a lot, but she's like, she's fucking going through it.
She cries a lot, and like, but I cry a lot. And
No,
so I don't think
yeah.
that's not a negative for me.
No.
All the things she cries at, I would also be crying at.
Yeah, there's a part where she's essentially saying like that she feels like Solomon and Ari were like hanging out with her, like a presence that were like with her before she
I think it's
got
actually
pregnant with them.
very sweet. Some
I
people
think
like it's creepy.
I think it's a sweet sentiment. It's not anything that I've ever really like heard of, but there's a part where she's like sobbing because she feels like maybe she's supposed to have one more kid. Like maybe they're supposed to be like a little boy with dark hair.
She keeps saying like I want to make sure I keep all my promises, and it must be like a Mormon thing.
Yeah.
But she
did say that she promised that she wasn't gonna like leave anybody behind. That she was gonna
like
have all the children she was supposed to have to.
She like feels like maybe there's another kid who's supposed to be with them.
Which honestly, it's not a part of my religion. Isn't something that I understand
it would make
at all
me stressed
whatsoever.
out, though.
But no, it seems fucking stressful. It seems really stressful. Is all that it seems to me. I'm sure that she still believes that, and like that is fine. But like Kody, it just clearly isn't. I don't know. He doesn't. It doesn't seem like he cares about anybody's feelings ever. It seems like he cares about his own feelings, and he's just not thinking about, like, I just can't fucking imagine saying to a 17-year-old, like, oh, well, can you go get that surgery by yourself during a global pandemic?
And it's because he doesn't want to. He's like, it's a super high risk for us to fly from Arizona to New Jersey for you to get a surgery, be there for 10 days, and then fly back. And he's right. And so I was like, yeah, even though he wants to go, he shouldn't go because he is the only one right now in the pandemic going from house to house. He doesn't fucking go to Meri's house hardly ever. And then he basically rarely goes to Janelle's house because Janelle, and I do falter for this, is not really taking it as seriously as the other wives.
No, it seems honestly like her kids aren't taking it seriously, and she's like, they're grown, and that's not like a fight that I want to have. Also,
no,
they
but
are
she
like
also
working.
was like, I think all 20-something of us should get together. And basically the other
true.
three wives were like, the CDC says we shouldn't, that we can't.
Yeah.
And Janelle's like, no, but I miss you so much. It's driving me crazy. And I think what's frustrating for me is like there's so much privilege coming from that sentence where Janelle's like, if I don't see you guys, I'm going to be so sad. And then Robin is doing a one-on-one and she's like, you'd be more sad if we were dead. Yeah. And that's true. Like at this point, there's no vaccine. Like there's no reason that they have to get together. No. There's just not.
And it's clear that the only reason that Kody is being so careful about this is because Solomon had RSV as a kid, as a baby. And then also, who's the other person? Robin's had pneumonia really bad. So she's obviously taking it very seriously. And it's clear that because she is the favorite, he's also taking it seriously.
Yeah, I am curious if he would take it seriously.
Oh my God. There's a fucking interview where he's like, of course, if Robin was sick, like I would stay with her. Like if any of my wives got sick, like I would take care of them. And it's just an example of him saying something that's not fucking true because every single wife they interview and they're like, no, he wouldn't come take care of me. Like absolutely he wouldn't do that. And it's not all them saying it's shitty.
I think Christine says that he might, but she wouldn't let him.
Yeah, and Janelle I think says essentially the same thing, is that like it doesn't
But Mary's
make
like,
sense.
if I got sick he wouldn't come over here, and she's right.
Yes.
Yeah, so Kody's taking it super seriously, which is surprising, actually, to me.
Yeah.
I didn't anticipate it going that way.
Yeah.
But he was like, Janelle, if your kids, Garrison and Gabriel, who are both, like, in college age, he was like, if they're still going out and seeing their friends, I think it's a really high risk for me to come to your house. Like, I want you to tell them that they can't do that. And instead, Janelle says, how about you don't come here? And she doesn't say it's snotty.
No.
But so she does, like... I think you're right. I think it's just a fight she doesn't want to have with her kids.
No.
And, like, I don't know. Like, these people are going through a lot.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge at this point.
No.
I mean, I am a little. But...
Yeah. And to be fair, there are some things that, like, Kody is saying, like, everybody's going to quarantine for 2 weeks, and then still he doesn't want them to hang out together. Like, he doesn't want her boys to physically see him, even though they've all quarantined for 2 weeks is, like, a thing. And she's like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. And also, her kids at this point are like, I don't fucking care if I see dad. I want to see my siblings who I miss. Like, he's not going to be around here anyway. Like, I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
And, like, Cody's like, well, fuck them. And it's like, you can't say that about your children.
Yes.
I feel like it's so
He's
clear.
literally been like, fuck these kids. Everyone except Robin's kids.
His first batch of kids when they were all young and they were like all raised together, it's obvious that he spent a lot of time and care and interest in them. And then the other kids, the rest of them, he's really only cared about while they were babies. Mm-hmm. And he just like kind of fucking writes them off after the fact. Like it's
really evident that he cares the most about like children and not that much about like
and I think that's why he cares about Robin's kids.
Because they're the youngest.
And then he's around the older ones more often than any of his other older kids. because
Not super often. We haven't seen Logan, the oldest, in like 3 seasons.
no, I'm saying Robin's oldest kids.
Oh.
Because he's already there, because he's hanging out with the children.
Yeah.
The children, like, all the time. And I don't know. I fucking hate him.
He just, like, the other thing is, like, he's really contradictory to himself, which we've mentioned. But, like, specifically with the pandemic, we see a video of him on the phone with Leon where he's like, you know, like, it really sucks if someone's grandma dies, but, like, we can't keep the economy shut down for this long.
Yes.
And Leon's like, no, I care way more about every human life than I do a single dollar.
Yeah.
And then he's like, no, me too. It's just that, like, you know, you got to see where I'm coming from. And it's, like, very Trumpy behavior. But then when he's talking with all 4 wives, he's like, none of us should go anywhere. Like, we shouldn't see each other. Like, I don't even know if I should really be going from house to house. And again, like, I agree. We didn't go anywhere except the grocery store. Like,
yeah,
you know, all this stuff. But, garbage man's here. Like, he's just contradicting himself.
It's clear that he was just going out of his way to argue with his kid who's getting a social justice degree, which is, like, a fucking lot.
Christine is like, you know, I tell them all the time, like, no politics in my house. And I'm like, it's gonna get... And I think that's the thing about the pandemic in general is, like, Phoebe's mom says this all the time, but it's like before, and it's definitely a privileged place to come from, but before the pandemic and before things like masks, before like the Trump election, like I really feel like I could be friends with people who like voted differently than me because it wasn't like I could tell from the moment I saw you. Or not even friends, but like I wouldn't get like instantly angry at a stranger at the grocery store. And then it's like when masks versus like I'm not fucking wearing a mask happen.
People wearing All Lives Matter shirts
yes.
and blue line
and
shit.
Everything like that. It's like I am like maybe I'm just like being nostalgic, but like I do feel like growing up I didn't see like unless it was literally like an election month. I feel like I didn't see like political t-shirts.
I feel like, and this is us coming from like a huge place of white privilege.
Oh, absolutely.
Like obviously, like definitely that's going to be part of it.
But like I'm curious if that similarly brings
is relevant.
Cody wanting to fight with Leon.
No, I think it makes sense.
And like again, we're only seeing 45 minutes of their 2-week chunk. Like
right.
Who fucking knows how they are in real life? But like it's just like it's so much, and like I am really curious how we will feel about everyone when we get caught up. But yeah, right now, like all the wives, I still like them and want the best for them.
Yeah,
it's this man.
I'm honestly least attached to Meri, and it's not that I don't think that she's a good person. She just is clearly like so broken. Like I hurt for her more than I hurt for anybody else.
Yes.
But I don't like her as much as I like the other one, and it's because it's very hard to be likable when you are going through all of that shit and then continually I don't know, she's got like, a lot going on.
You can see, and maybe it's just because we've been through therapy and like I feel like we know some people who are similar to Meri, but
that's
like
true.
You can see when the other 4 are having a discussion in front of her, you can see that she has an opinion she's not sharing, and she always says like I'm putting this wall up, and like it's just so, and it's easier said than done, but it's so obvious that if all 4 of them would just keep their walls down for like a full
an hour
conversation to say like, hey, actually, like
that hurts my feelings when you say this,
and it's because none of them ever want to seem weak in front of the other wives.
Yeah,
like it's all about
and Meri the most is really what it is, and she also just especially like if she just all constantly is like I'm really unsure about something, which is frustrating for the other wives who are just trying to like make decisions and get on with their lives, and most frustrating for Kody, who doesn't like her, doesn't want to be married to her. Literally says the sentence in therapy. He's like, if you want me to love you, then like become lovable.
Yes. And she's like, okay, what am I doing that's not lovable?
Yeah.
And he's like, everything.
Everything that you do is not lovable. Like, instead, just be lovable.
And it's so annoying because I do feel like she's doing LuLaRoe, which
it's a lot.
It's a lot. But again, how else is she going to make money?
Yeah.
You know? She can't, none of them can go to like a normal 9-to-5 job. They're on a fucking reality TV show.
But also, at the end of the day, like, when she makes comments, people misconstrue them, and then she wants people to read her mind also.
Yes, she really does want people to read her mind, and it's because I think it's because she's the first wife and she doesn't ever want to seem naggy, and I think to her repeating herself seems naggy, and she instead says like vague things,
and she's gotten that feedback. She's gotten the feedback of like Meri's too intense, Meri's not nice, and so she just like doesn't say things, and then they're like, worse. How are we supposed to read your mind? Because then it just seems like she's super cold all the time, and that's not what she's trying to do.
I do hurt for her. That's exactly what it is.
Like, it's just...
And it's just, like, I want to take these women and be like, it doesn't have to be like this.
No.
Like, it really doesn't.
No.
And it's that they think it does. Because, like, they'll be like, no, but, like, I forget which one of them it is. I think Janelle's mom is also a sister wife.
Yeah.
Janelle's mom was actually married to Cody's dad, unrelated.
Well, Cody's dad's dead now, right?
Yeah. But Janelle's mom and Cody's mom, who used to both be married to Cody's dad, are like best friends. The dad died and they still live together. They still hang out.
Yeah.
And Janelle's like, I want that. Like, all of them crave this like sisterhood best friendship, and the reason they can't have it is because of Cody.
It's literally because of Cody.
And if Cody was an effective communicator, if all of them were effective communicators, it would be so easy for them to have that. If even just
Cody was an effective communicator, it would solve a lot of their problems. But he is just so angry, he's unthinking, he's unkind.
They all know, like, he just kind of talks without thinking. Like, he just kind of is rude sometimes. And I'm like, other grown men don't behave like that.
No.
Like, it is incredibly possible for you to be with... And that's the thing, like, they keep saying, like, when we have problems, people blame it on plural marriage. And, like, we said this in the first podcast, but, like, plural marriage isn't their problem. It is communication.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely think this is a situation that would be wonderful, even ideal for other people.
Yeah.
And I'm not even saying it's bad for these people. I am saying that, like, this group, at least where we're at right now in the show, cannot communicate effectively to save their lives.
No.
To save their family.
And yes. And it's just like the episode that we just finished, which is like the season finale, is clearly Christine being like, I want to move to Utah. And all the other girlies being like, oh, we're not moving to Utah. And then it's her sobbing. And it's so evident that is the moment that she has realized that she needs to leave.
It's such a
and
big reaction.
And she needs to leave Cody. It's a huge reaction. And she's like, oh, we're really not
And
moving.
nobody was mean at all. They're like,
but
hey.
Meri pulls her aside and is chatting with her. And Mary's like, hey, you're just having big feelings. Like, you can't leave right now. You don't get to do that. And it's just clear that Meri, like, she has been so brainwashed by everything about this, by Cody. She's the one who has wanted to leave for the longest. Yeah. She continues to not leave.
She's like, I've been here 30 years and I'm not giving up now.
Right.
And that's like...
It's a sunk time fallacy.
Yeah, people think that because they put all this time into a relationship or a job, that, like, it would be a waste if they left now. And that's not true.
That's just, it just isn't true.
It's just your brain tricking you. It's much better to leave a horrible situation and be better off a year or 5 years from now than to still be in the same position or worse 5 years from now.
Than to have spent 35 years doing something. And that's the thing. I mean, honestly, that, with relationships especially... That's hard.
Yeah.
That's hard, and it's hard when people are used to it because it's not just the sunk time, it's also, like, the comfort and, like, where they're at.
Divorce with them would also be, like, hellacious because, like, 5 of them have their finances all tied together versus just 2 people.
Yeah.
Like, it would obviously be really hard. And, I mean, we know it's going to happen. But
right.
It will be very hard, I'm sure. But, yeah. I just, like, where we're at right now, every time... And I think both of us really try to give Cody the benefit of the doubt when we can.
I didn't... Yeah, that's true.
Like, we really will be like... I'm trying to think... He did something recently where I was like, I think he's got a good point.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is, like, the actual... Like I said, the points that he's trying to make, like, hey, Robin, we have to fucking buy a house. Or, like, Isabel, like, it is not smart for me and your mom to both go with you to get this surgery, even though we want to.
Yeah.
Like, those are both good points. It's the way that he is, like, demeaning and, like, telling these women that they're stupid for, like, believing or wanting whatever they want.
And the fact that, like, he doesn't care that Isabel is in, like, so much pain.
Yeah, he was, like... It's just super obvious that he doesn't care about women.
He's not asking any questions of her either. It's not... And if he was, like... how bad does it hurt? How long has it been hurting like that? Like, he doesn't know and he doesn't give a shit. And like, literally, he just keeps saying, like, why does it need to happen now? And Isabel's like, because I hurt so much. And he's like, what's changed? And she's like, my pain level. And he's like, no, but other than that. And it's like, no, that's why you need the surgery.
That's what it is.
That's the whole fucking
And that's
point.
The thing is, Christina's like, if they thought it was unsafe to have this, they wouldn't offer it to us.
Yes.
But, like, the reason we can do it is because, like, and, like, the hospital's the safest... I mean, maybe not the safest place to be if you were going on the COVID floor.
Right.
But, like, they're going to make you wear masks, maybe even double masks.
Yeah.
Like, she's going in for a surgery, and then she's staying in her room. Like, everyone has to scrub in and out. Like,
yeah.
You know, like, it's just, like, it sucks. It's horrible timing. But I was talking to Phoebe, and I was like, it's not like she's getting, like, a boob job.
No.
Or a note. Like, it's not cosmetic.
No.
And, like, you know, that's still valid. But, like, this is, like, life-changing, very needed surgery.
Yeah. I mean,
because she is literally at, like, an 8 or 9 pain level every day.
Yeah.
Is what Christine said. And, like... It's just so sad to watch, like, and Isabel, again, is sitting there while they're having this, like, back and forth horrible discussion in front of her about her. And she's, like, sobbing, and then finally she's like, whatever, I'll wait. And
she's like, do you need me anymore? Do I need to be here? Do I need to be here? And then just like essentially like walks off. Christine's like, no, it's fine. Like you can leave. But it's just so obvious that she's just like, she just has heard too much of her mom. And it's not Christine's fault, but her mom being like, just like advocating for her.
Her mom being like, you should care if your kid is in pain. And over again, especially these last 2 seasons, like there's so many clips that you could put of Kody being like, I don't care about the kid's temporary feelings.
Yeah.
I care about their future.
That's the kind of shit that makes a kid fucking cut you off.
Yeah. Because you don't care about the kid right now. You only care about future fake kid.
Yep. And that kid won't be around for you to care about. For them to, because you have done too much damage in the short term. Like the short term is important. It's really important. And especially for young people, like their existence and their feelings, that's all they have is right now.
Yeah.
Like it's like literally you don't have long-term cognitive thought until you're like fucking 25 years old and your entire prefrontal cortex is developed, which means that when you're talking to a 20-year-old or a 19-year-old or a 15-year-old and you're like, I don't care if you're in pain for the next year because it'll be way better for us for you to have this surgery later. They literally can't see that. All they can see is I will be in pain for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's fair.
Yeah.
Also, like, it's not like this is like, I don't know. It's just like the way that he speaks to the women and to the kids.
Yeah.
It's also like, we said this in the first podcast, but these like anthropologists who stayed with him a long time ago, I think still in like Utah. In Utah. I don't remember. It's like very early.
Yeah.
Come and stay with them to like study their family structure.
Yeah.
They literally are like, it's super obvious that you connect with your boys more than your girls. Like, have you noticed that? And if I were Kody and a good parent, I would be like, oh my God, I haven't noticed that. Like, you know, what should I be doing? And like, he does one trip with like the oldest 6 girls.
Yeah.
And he's like, this was really great for me to spend time with them. And then he just never...
It's not the oldest, it's the middleest, but yeah.
But yeah, he like never spends time with them again.
No.
Like trying harder. And I do think that happens a lot, not just with Kody, but especially at least where I'm from, like, you know, dads connect with their sons and moms connect with their daughters a lot easier because of gender roles and things like that. And so like, you know, you have to just try different things. I don't know, like...
It's almost as if they're people.
No, literally. It's like, if someone pointed that out to me, like, hey, it really seems like you're connecting more with, you know, your daughter more than your son or whatever, I would be like, oh my God. I haven't noticed that at all. And then I would talk to my kid and be like, hey, like, what are you doing? Like, you know, and I would try to pick up a hobby that they're into, and I would be like making more of an effort. Because, like, it's totally... You're not a bad person if you didn't notice.
No.
But once someone points something out to you, like, once you know better, you should do better.
Yeah.
And he doesn't. He doesn't ever do better with any information. He just thinks he's right all the time. And that's what sucks. Because, like I said at the beginning of the last episode, we really liked him at the beginning. Because it was like, he worshipped the ground these 4 women walked on.
I liked him okay. I liked him as much as I think it's possible for me to like a man in that position who I know that I'm going to hate later because I've seen the weird shit that he says.
We knew how he was going to be later.
And it really, that first like episode and that first like season, he very much has like Michael Scott energy where you're like, wow, this guy's a fucking idiot.
He actually has Michael Scott energy the whole time. I said that yesterday.
Fun.
And I was like, I think Cody's a great example of how like if Michael Scott were a real person, you would hate him.
Yeah.
Because like he doesn't at all think about... Like, that clip that's on TikTok right now of Michael Scott, that's like, this is a dream I've had since lunch, and I am not giving up on it now. That's literally Kody.
That's so quotable, and it's so funny, but if that was your fucking dad...
If that was your husband,
like, let's move
hobby,
to a different
everyone's
state... Oh my God. He also, okay, and this is just so silly, but he won't stop saying nut. He will not stop saying it.
I think we finally figured out maybe that he's saying it instead of ass.
Because he's like, we got to cover our nut. And I'm like...
He says, like, we got to make sure our nut's covered.
Stop talking about your nut. I don't want to hear it.
And, like, I've never heard anyone use that phrase. They also keep saying the pink elephant in the room.
I don't get that.
And I've never heard that. I've only ever said
the
like
regular elephant in the room.
Let's talk about the elephant in the room.
Also, pink elephant has a connotation of like drunkenness, right?
Oh,
like,
does it?
I think so.
I was thinking silly clwn.
Oh, silly clown also.
But like, there's just some funny things. He also says lawyer.
He does say lawyer.
And he also
says sweetheart.
He doesn't say sweetheart.
Yeah.
He says, "What's going on, sweetheart?"
He's like sweetheart. Get off fucking with that. Robin also says drowning. There's a lot. God. It's okay. It's a lot of like just like those things are all silly.
All
of those I can give them. Go ahead.
They changed the theme.
Oh
we
my
didn't
god!
Talk about it at the beginning of season 15, which is the one we just started,
which is
or just finished.
So fucked up. It's clear that you can tell that things are about to get really dramatic because before they used to do their little like intros, and Christine was like,
"I think this makes us better." Like, I really like plural marriage.
No, what's Christine's?
Christine, I wanted the family. I didn't just want the man. So we would
so
say it
good.
every
with
time.
her every time
because it's such a weird. She goes, "I didn't just want the man.
I didn't just want the man."
That's
how Christine talks sometimes.
No, I don't know.
So
it feels
funny.
like they sped it up the tiniest bit.
I didn't just want the man.
I didn't just want the man. But anyway, so the first time that changed, we both like stopped what we were doing and we were like,
yeah, we gasped.
They changed the theme.
Well, they made
the intro.
They made it like dun, 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 dun,
it's the same music but slower and quieter.
Oh my god, and it's also absurd. The pictures that they have, you can tell who they like in the show.
It's true.
Because the picture of Meri is like, okay, fine, and then the picture of
their pictures are like, get really close to my face.
Yeah.
So like it's like the picture of them on their marriage day and then like a picture of them.
Yeah,
now.
so it's like them in the background like this, so like we're in love.
Like this is their wedding.
This is on YouTube, you can see it, they're in love, this is their wedding, and then it's in the background and it's Robin like this.
They're literally so close to each other.
It's like terrible.
Twilight.
Oh, all the girlies at the end, you mean?
Oh no! I'll point it out.
The
when we
close
watch
up foot, but it's not the two that like it's the one that's like okay. So in the
I mean the background ones.
Yes. Okay.
Oh, sorry. So the background ones. This is them on their wedding, and they're like smiling or like cutting their cake or whatever.
And then the foreground, it's Robin like this. And I'm like, who took that picture of Robin? Like, that's
no, but
not
they
a cute
in the
angle
background
for her.
they do them on their wedding day and then them now.
Yeah.
Clearly like staged photos.
Yeah.
And what I'm saying is the them now, they're always way too close. They're like.
Yeah, that's true.
But they're not
that's
kissing.
True. No.
It's just like one of them has their mouth on the other one's chin.
Yeah. A la Edward from Twilight.
It's very strange.
Putting his lips along Bella's
jawline.
Anyway, okay, hold on. I have to talk shit though. And then, so the picture of Christine looks fine. Picture of Janelle looks great. Like Robin's looks really weird. Mary's looks like a little bit off, but it's not terrible. And the one of Cody's is just by himself. It's from years ago, and he has like a gut in it.
He has like a Grinch belly,
and it doesn't really like. I don't care. Like I have a Grinch belly. Like like whatever, Grinch belly, cute. But like he literally talks about having washboard abs now.
All the time.
It's like his whole thing. He's clearly gotten Botox done. He's bleaching his hair blonde. Is what it looks like. So bad. His hair. He's doing this like weird perm thing with it, and then to try to give it more volume. I don't know if he's gotten hair plugs. He has
and
this,
when he puts his hair in a ponytail and it looks like his head is like almost shaved, he looks so much better and so much younger.
Yeah, he does look a lot younger.
It's just so obvious that it's time to get rid of his hair.
And it's okay to talk shit about people's appearance if they're really fucking rude. I feel like because any of these things wouldn't apply.
I think we're not saying like. I don't know. Like
I don't think he's ugly.
That's the thing is I don't think he's ugly because of the way he looks. No, he's ugly on the inside.
He's like that's true, and he's like grabbing onto this like youthful like I don't know. But
and he says several times like I'm just not ready to shave my head, and I just feel like if Phoebe was losing their hair to the point where like every time they pulled it back and they look bald, I'm like you look so much younger right now.
Yeah,
I would be like, hey, it sucks, and I know that it's like a lot to deal with, and I don't personally know.
Right now he has a bald strip, so he's got this like unicorn horn of like
hair up front,
and then a bald strip. And that's, I mean,
he should look so much better if he just
it's a lot going on. But anyway, this picture of him, it's just like super fucking
his
old.
hair's like much shorter than it ever is, than it has been in years.
And it's and
he's like this, and then like you can see a crease right here, and then his little Grinch belly.
He like looks pregnant,
and I'm like, they did him dirty with this photo.
It's clear that they don't like him. And it's not, and again, it's not a bad photo. It's not that he was ugly at that time. It's
it's clearly from years ago.
It's from years ago, and he cares so much about his appearance.
Yeah.
Like, it is a recurring theme how much he cares about his appearance. So it feels fucking pointed that they were like, oh, we'll just use this picture where you keep on saying that this is the worst you ever looked. And it's like, whoa. Yikes.
Yeah, there's a lot of like fat phobia comments. Less now than at the beginning of the show.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
I just right now I hurt for all four women.
Yeah.
I just wish that they would see. And again, like we are only basing this off of the show. It's like I said, we only see little clips compared to their actual lives.
Yeah.
And for all we know, this whole show is scripted. Mm-hmm. But like I just feel like as an audience member, it's so obvious to me that they work things out so much better when Cody's not there.
Yep.
Like, even when they're snapping a little bit, like Robin to Meri, like interrupted her for like the third time, and Robin was like, can I finish what I'm saying? And that was snappy.
Yeah.
And Meri was like, okay. and like let her finish.
Yeah, no, that's
and
true.
like while it's snappy, like that is not screaming.
No,
it could have been handled better.
Yeah,
but like it's because Robin is actually saying like, have you noticed that you've interrupted me 3 times? And Meri's saying, sorry, I'm feeling a little heated, but you're right. I'll try not to interrupt you.
Right. It's so much.
Yeah, I don't know. All this to say that man bad.
No, just this man bad.
I said man with an A.
Oh, yes.
Man bad.
Yeah. Man worst.
Man getting worser by the minute.
Continuing to be the worstest. I just hate him. And that's the podcast.
Oh, Leon and Audrey just got engaged in the show.
Yes.
This is where everyone's at. We haven't seen Logan in 3 seasons.
Yeah.
No idea where he's at.
No.
Hope he's okay.
Yeah.
Leon
I think he's sick of them because he literally raised all those fucking kids.
Yeah.
I have to stream in like 8 minutes.
Oh.
It's okay.
Well,
that's pretty much it. But can I say something about Leon?
What?
Do you think I should say something about Leon?
Sure.
I'm so stressed out about it, y'all. I have to tell you.
I doubt they'll watch this.
I'm sure they won't. Oh my god, I'm sure they won't. Leon follows Morgan on Instagram. Just the Morgan's Got Jokes
We don't
account.
know how that happened. Or
My
when that happened.
fear...
On Instagram, you can't see when someone followed
My
you.
deep fear is that Leon previously followed like a couple of goofs and Morgan's Got Jokes. And maybe, honestly, maybe they just followed because you're hot. And that's also fair. Maybe you just showed up on their Explore page and they're like, oh, she's hot. I'll follow. I have such a fear that that they followed goofs and then unfollowed us when we started talking about Sister Wives. And I know that Leon won't see this. It would be completely fair. It's just, I worry. I worry for them. I worry for their mental health. I
have no idea what's going to happen on the show. I don't know if they back out from the show.
I hope that Leon is doing well. I hope that all of those kids are doing well. I can't fucking imagine.
I hope they get like residuals or like.
Oh my god!
I have no idea how being on reality.
I
TV
honestly
works.
kind of feel like it would be easy for them to take their time on reality TV and like shift it into like an influencer type job, like a content creation-y, if that's the kind of thing they're into. It kind of seems also.
I mean,
like
Leon's degrees are in social
justice
justice and social work.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if they are getting a job with that or have a job with that. I would literally not know.
I don't know.
I follow them on TikTok. They only have like 3,000 followers on TikTok.
I hope they're doing well. They have a shit ton of Instagram followers.
Oh, yeah.
Their pictures are super cute. Them and their fiance are so cute.
Yeah.
And then
their fiance looks. It's so funny because they still look so similar.
Yeah.
Like it's obvious it's the same person, but they've been on testosterone and had top surgery.
They're so hot.
But it's so obvious that they're the same person. And that's my favorite is both when someone looks so different and also when you can tell they're the same person. Like,
yeah,
it looks like that could be their twin of like a different gender.
Yeah.
That's my favorite.
Very cute.
But like Audrey, Leon's fiance, has like these really like specific eyes. Like, and I don't know if they're still wearing eyelashes. I don't know what it is, but they literally have little like, they look like a doll.
They look like those like beautiful Highland cow eyes. I mean that as like the highest compliment in the world. No, they have beautiful,
and like they have like from here to here they look like a model, and then like from here to here they look like your best friend.
They're so cute. I'm obsessed with them.
They're giving like, I don't know what it is, but they're
like
cute.
Poster child for like chubby transmasculine hottie.
Yes,
and I love it.
Yeah.
I'm obsessed with them.
And then Leon, like I said, I follow them on TikTok. And they don't look as the same. Like you can tell it's the same person.
Yeah.
But they do look very different.
Yeah. And
like I don't know. I think it's because some people they start testosterone and like their face shape changes a lot, and some people they don't as much.
They're really cute though.
But yeah. Anyway.
This is me sending out good vibes to Leon and Audrey.
I hope they're having the best day.
I hope they're having the best day. I'm sorry if they hate us now. That would be allowed.
Yeah. But anyway, that's it.
Love you all.
TV's got to stream. We got to do other stuff. I love you.
Love you. Have a good day. Bye. Goodbye.